Hello and welcome to the Video Gamer UK podcast. My name is Simon Miller and today I'm joined by Stephen W. Burns.
Hello.
Jim Trinker.
All right.
And Tom Ori.
Hello.
We're big time now as well, boys. Don't worry about it, because today we're sponsored by Magic Duels Origins, the new free-to-play digital version of Magic the Gathering. You can visit magic.wizards.com/duels for more info. Now, we are going to try and talk about games today, but we're in the lull, as they say, in terms of stuff coming out. Batman has come out, and that's kind of like abused everybody's time. Mm-hmm. And then, but we kind of chat. But Tom, you play a little bit of Batman. Well, I mean, just quickly, we'll touch on it. I mean, are you enjoying it as much as everybody else is?
I really like it.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Dave likes it too.
There's not much more to say. It's like it's a very good game. I mean, I don't really mind the Batmobile stuff either. It's just all works really well. I kind of like that a lot of it is stuff like I didn't know much about it, I guess, beforehand. I played the other games. I hadn't read too much about the new game. And there's a lot of stuff happening that I didn't think was going to happen or know about, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, well, there you go. Burns, you haven't played it yet, have you?
No.
Are you going to bother, or is the Batmobile just you can't be asked with it?
I won't play it until there's a PC version with a trainer. So every time it comes to a Batmobile mission, you can just skip it.
Okay, well, that's fair enough. So maybe not for a while. Maybe no Batmobile or Batman for Burns for a while.
The PC version is already pretty bad.
It's dead.
But someone will make a version which completely removes the Batmobile, essentially, in story missions, and then I will play it and no doubt enjoy it.
Okay, Jim, just quickly, as we're doing a round table, you still playing Batman?
I am still playing Batman whenever I get the chance, yeah, absolutely love it.
Okay.
I even like the Batmobile. There we go. I mean, I think there's perhaps a little bit too much of it, but, you know, I'm not feeling, I don't hate it when I'm in it.
No, so. There you go, thumbs up for Batman. But something Jim and I, and Burns, you can attain to this as well, because you played at E3. Jim and I went to play a load of Nintendo games last week.
Yeah.
If you'd like the joke version, you can watch the Miller Report, which is up now. If you're a patron, it's up. You can know up today. If you're listening on normal waves, is that a thing? I don't know. It's up now. Go watch it. Go search VideoGamerTV. Now, I mean, Tom, you kind of get, you've read about Star Fox and stuff, so you know the deal. Now, I kind of like. They didn't like Star Fox Zero, but by the end of the demo, I was kind of intrigued by it. I know what you mean, Steve, about the controls and just. I mean, it looks like a Nintendo 64 game.
It's really bad.
But does it actually look that bad? Because when they showed it off at the Nintendo Direct, I was very close to saying something along the lines of on Twitter, "Is this a 3DS game?"
It looks very sparse. It looks like not a lot has gone into it. It's like a line drawing that's then been coloured in.
It looks like they're. Does it run at 60? I think it was.
It does run at 60.
Is this because they've got the whole dual screen thing? So one screen shows something different to the other.
And they are both running at 60 frames a second. I think that's their thing.
I think that's what it is. Yeah.
They're both running at 60. Therefore, there has to be some, technical. They've
made a lot of sort of sacrifices of fidelity to maintain that
mainly
speed.
It being good.
This is the thing. I didn't think it was necessarily good. But the demo's 20 minutes? Mm-hmm. By the end of the demo...
Was it the same demo?
Yes, it was, yeah. By the end of the demo, I was like, maybe I'd like to play some more. Not necessarily from an entertainment standpoint, but from maybe I will get into this the more they play it. I didn't enjoy jumping back and forth to the control.
Getting used to.
I much rather get used to the way it plays and then start shooting stuff on the TV.
Do you know what I thought it looked like? It looked like it was running on like a late 90s, early 2000s Sega arcade cabinet hardware. Like it had the sort of Virtua Fighter look to it, if that makes any sense at all.
Oh man, those games look much better. The Naomi boards, that board made everything look so much better. It's so bland, and it may be a technical achievement to have it running and 60 frames and on the gamepad and on your television, but at the same time, as a technical achievement to train a fucking monkey to play a Wii game doesn't mean it's any good.
Yeah, but if DICE had made that. Right,
I don't give a shit about DICE. What have they got to do?
I'm saying, but you can understand the approach, because if DICE had made that, it would be running at 900p and probably struggling to maintain 30. I mean, they've obviously gone for the
smooth,
the actual, giving you that feeling of flight is greatly helped along by the fact that it does run at 60. I can understand
listen,
it.
Jim,
you're working with limited hardware.
I played it.
I did bloody play it.
I don't think it's
crap.
No, I can.
You press the A button and you turn into a chicken.
Now that bit,
that was cracking. I loved it.
These are things that happened. I didn't even make that
bit
up.
is the most Nintendo addition to a game ever. What if the craft could turn into a chicken and run around? Put that in the game.
I'd love a good Star Fox, and the feeling of fly, Jim, you are correct there. It does feel nice to fly the craft when you're not struggling to look between two screens and smashing into stuff. Because when you look at one screen, your hand position is obviously different, and that affects the way that you aim with it. So it feels like an interesting tech demo.
I mean, the controls as well. Like, it's very difficult to sell them as well in the 20-minute demo. And I mean, by the end of it, I kind of felt like I was starting to get it. Like, you know, like being encouraged by the Nintendo rep to, you know, use the gamepad screen just for sort of precision aiming, because it gives you a first-person view of the cockpit and stuff. And switching between them was a bit of a nightmare. But by the end of that demo, I'd started to feel like it was clicking, and I did feel like, I think after an hour of this, I'd be fine.
Yeah,
I think it's a difficult. It's a bit of a.
It's not instantly accessible.
Yeah, it's not completely intuitive, and it's maybe something that requires a little bit of investment in terms of practice.
Is it partly like, I get this every time I play a Wii U game, is that I don't play it often enough, so even using the gamepad feels a bit weird to begin with.
Yeah.
And every single game I go and play on it, because I'm not playing every game I have on the Wii U, it's always like a learning again to get used to it and how it feels and all that kind of stuff.
Especially when it pops up on screen like press ZL to do this. You're like, what the fuck is ZL?
Yeah.
And you kind of have to fundle around with the controller till you remember where ZL is. I mean, that's the problem with that thing, is it is like using a dinner tray. But I think, I don't know, I think what they've tried to done is, everyone always raves on about how much they love Star Fox 64. So they've really gone right, you know, in terms of look and the way it plays, chicken aside. We're going to try and emulate Star Fox 64 and give this sequel to people that have demanded it for so long.
It's even got N64 texturing. It's very faithful.
Well, that's the thing, yeah. But I think that's why it looks like that, though. I think they've gone, we want to try and make it feel as authentic as we can. I think it's a mistake. I think they probably should have just started again. But also, no one's talking that Platinum's developing it. No one.
Which version? It's like...
Well, that's true. There are many versions of it.
Yeah, which Platinum? It's not...
That's a very good point. But you think that would be more of a... People just went, meh.
They made quite a big lot of people talking about over E3.
Did they? I didn't really feel it.
But they are making a lot of games, Platinum.
Yeah, they are.
And they have a history of making some good games and some bad games.
Yeah.
What was the last game they released? I should research that before I just throw it out there. But what was the last game Platinum actually put out into the world? Was it?
I can't remember if it's
Bayonetta. They made Bayonetta 2?
Yeah.
Of course they did, yeah.
And they did the other game, The Legend of Korra, whatever it is, the anime spin-off thing. But that was like a digital game, but that was like bad. But clearly they had that on a very tight, small
Maybe that's
budget.
the Star Fox
Are they
team.
like Grasshopper manufacturing, that they do loads of stuff in Japan that you just never...
I don't know if they do.
I thought they did. I thought that was their deal. They kind of
I think most of
shit
the stuff gets
out.
released over here.
Oh, okay.
But then they're also at the moment working on a Transformers game. They're working on Nier. Like there's probably other stuff that I've forgotten.
No.
Platinum,
They're working on Scalebound. Like I don't know how big they are, but there's a lot of games.
Yeah.
there you go.
Weird. They're like Telltale, but for weird bullshit.
There you go. They should change their name. Telltale, but for weird bullshit. They are, though. You're right.
They do make some very good games. They have made some very good games.
What? They made Silence. What was it called? The big game they did.
What, Bayonetta?
No, there's another one. Everybody loved it. Everyone went crazy about it and whipped their junk out and threw it around. Anyway, I don't know. It will come to me and I shout out in the middle of a middle of a conversation.
The Wonderful 101, do you mean?
No, that was atrocious. I chatted to the guy.
Gear, didn't they?
I chatted to the guy that made that at E3 2014. He genuinely thought this was he goes, this is going to change the Wii U's fortune. This is the best thing anyone's ever seen. And it was an okay game, but they were a very different wavelengths for everybody else.
Game.
It was a bit like an Amiga game. What else did we play there? We played the new Skylanders game. I've never played a Skylanders game before, so it's completely lost on me. To me, it just seemed like a way to fit in Amiibos / Skylanders and make more money out of it. I mean, that's all I got from it.
I mean, the game was designed to sell toys.
Yeah,
basically. But having said that, they are actually quite decent games. Like I've not sat and played them for hours or anything.
Yeah.
But I've played them with the kids and stuff, and it's like like on a really sort of basic level, it's a bit like Diablo for kids. Like
I've had a few people say
you
that.
fire about, you get loot, you get upgrades to your equipment.
Yeah.
There's like there's a hub world, there's different areas that you clear and whatever. It's really fun. They love it. Then Skylanders Superchargers was pretty much the same, except with an emphasis on vehicles.
That's what you do, isn't it? When you get to a certain end of a cycle, you throw in vehicles and do the same game again.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Breathe new life into
I mean,
it.
it works for Arkham Knight, so...
Exactly, there you go. Makes sense. We did play Mario Maker, though. I want to talk about that, because I think because you liked it as well, didn't you, Mario Maker?
I did like it.
I think it's really good. It's much more fun. It's got Little Big Planet syndrome, where I don't think it's necessarily fun to make your own levels, but I think it's a lot of fun to play other people's levels, especially when they're so crazy. You go, well, Miyamoto's never going to do this, is he? It's never going to happen.
I think is hilarious is that, like, you know, Simon Miller right now has said, yeah, I quite like Mario Maker. It's really good.
The best bit, yeah.
And then the video,
that's not me, Jim.
Miller going, that's a lot of rubbish.
Exactly. Maybe one day people will start to realise they're two different people.
Some people can't deal with that.
No, that is true.
Anyway,
the best bit is there'll be no crossover.
It was
they'll
really
watch that.
cool.
They won't listen to this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I like my kid played Mario Maker, and it was she draws and stuff all the time, and like all kids do, but it seemed really intuitive, like, you know, in terms of like a tool that lets you design levels, and lets you sort of in a really rudimentary fashion put logic into them, and, you know, allows you to sort of, you know, do game design in a really sort
I
of
assume
restricted way. But
it's because of the way it is. It's not Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet is all lots of it is about like building like almost like robots and stuff that do stuff. They have like AI. They have like mechanics and stuff. Yeah. But this, because it's Mario, I assume is easier because it's bricks and it's
I didn't see anything that indicated it was.
There's no physics-based stuff or anything like that.
Oh no, it's nowhere near as complex.
But that should hopefully make it easier for people to do.
Yeah. Should have been a launch game.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I agree.
I thought that you know, watching an 8-year-old play it and just immediately understanding it in a way that, but I never really got Little Big Planet.
No, I didn't.
It was far too. It was impenetrable.
Yeah, it was really hard. Like doing anything in that is you have to. In Little Big Planet 3, they basically built a whole game around learning how to make levels, and that they needed that the first time, really. But
everyone went mad for that fucking game, didn't they? The first two Little Big Planets.
Oh, the first one was supposed to be the PS3's Great White Hope. Like it was going to change the
I
world.
thought it was a load of shit.
I hated it. I never got into
it. It was the
those games.
floaty jump.
Yeah.
It's a platform game, essentially.
Yeah.
You can't jump properly. Dead. 4 out of 10.
It had a really cute mascot, and it had fucking Stephen Fry narrating it.
Fuck that
and
guy.
Everyone's
I kind of like Little Planet. It's
everyone's
alright.
like fucking.
I like the idea. I think for me, I was very excited about. You know, this is why I like Mario Maker. I wanted to make my own levels, but as soon as I started doing it, I was like, I'm not cut out for this.
Then you realise that you can't. Like,
Code.
I'd like to be an astronaut.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I'm not good enough.
But I'm not going to be.
Yeah, but that's why
it's
Mario
really hard.
Mario Maker is so simple. You could put it on they won't do that. Well, maybe they will. I doubt it. But you could put it on a tablet, and you'd be able to. You know, you wouldn't feel that. I mean, maybe when you actually did the platforming stuff, it would, because touchscreen controls are terrible. But you would be able to do it without feeling. If you did that with Little Big Planet, it would be a nightmare trying to do all that with your fingers. And I think that's it's classic Nintendo. It's really easy to.
It is really classic Nintendo. Like there's stuff you can, and even though it's a creative tool, it actually kind of follows the logic of Mario games, and not in terms of playing them, but in terms of actually building the levels. Like, you know, like if you want to make place a Goomba in the level, and if you want to make it a large Goomba, you drag a mushroom onto it. Yeah, you know, it makes sense. I don't know if it would make sense to an adult who's being conditioned to sort of. You know, not expect sort of a creative tool to have exactly the same sort of mechanics as a game, but makes perfect sense to a child. I want to make that bigger. I'll give it a mushroom.
And some of the levels I played as well. I played the one from the Nintendo World Championships. I mean, it was nonsense. Did that? Did they show you that one as well? I know that was on the show.
I just got to. I was in the Nintendo booth thing.
Yeah.
Oh, the guy showing Miller levels was absolutely sadistic.
He was just like throwing jibes at me the whole time. I was like, "What are you doing, clown? Just like, leave me alone. Just let me play the game." But he was like, probably going, you failed that one." I do realise that. I'm here too. But it was nuts. I mean, it was all like, you know, thousands of Goombas and thousands of shells and coins and blocks and mushrooms and just, you know, and it wasn't like traditional Mario, which is very kind of some of the levels do get a bit more complicated, but there was a lot of guest doors, and you've gone in the wrong door, and if you don't then go out the door straight away, you'll die. You know, it's a lot of like Twitch gaming, basically.
Yeah.
And it felt very different for Mario. I imagine those levels will get very boring very quickly, but there'll be different ones that people come up with, and then they'll find a way to do something you didn't even think they'd be able to do in the first place.
There will be people who make amazing things with that. Yeah. It'll mostly be shite. It'll be like Little Big Planet, but you know.
Or anything.
You can't create your own sprites and stuff, can you?
No. I don't think so.
Well, but this is the thing. Probably not as intended, but somebody will imagine. It's got some cool stuff. Like you can play the original sort of Mario Brothers aesthetic, but with ideas you remember from stuff like Mario Brothers 3 or Mario World. So there's a change mushroom if you play some of the original Super Mario Brothers levels. So you see Princess Peach done in that sort of NES sprite style, which you never saw before when you were back in the day. So it's got some nice things like that in it. And that still counts as your like second life kind of a thing. So small things like that are really good. And I think if you're a long-time Mario fan, that would probably make you mark out a bit.
Yeah.
I just think it's really nice. But I think why it's taken so long is beyond me. Like it's been...
You should have launched with that.
Yeah.
I kind of think they should have
liked it.
waited to the next console, or at least get it out on that as well, because I'm not going to buy a Wii U now. Like, it's too late.
I mean, Wii U, innit?
But if it
Build Mario
launches,
Maker into the NX.
yeah,
Yeah.
build it into the next one, yeah.
And
Like Alex the Kid.
Alex the Kid.
One of the reps did point
Alex
out.
Kid.
I thought there's one called Alex the Kid.
No.
He's a kid, but maybe, I
Wow.
don't know. But he's not.
I was referring to the cat.
Wonder the Boy.
I'm going with Alex the Kid. I can't change now. I'm too old.
Alex, the eponymous kid.
Exactly. That's a better name. Gonna have a whole run of those games.
Fucked it.
Another one of the reps pointed out, like, just stuff that you wouldn't really think of, like, you know, in an actual Mario game, you'd never find a Goomba in an underwater level. And
Yeah.
she was like, well, you can do that here. And the
world stops.
And I mean, for a nanosecond, I was like, wow. And
Yeah.
then
But there's a reason for that, though, isn't there?
yes.
when I was playing it and I was dicking around making a load of rubbish, so not much different to usual. And I thought, you know, it does have Little Big Planet syndrome, where you're going to think, wow, I'm not a genius game designer. And the key for the entire experience for me is how their ID system, where each level has a generated code, so you can play the best ones. How does that proliferate? How does that populate the lists when you turn it on? Because if you have to wade through a mountain of shit. I'm sure that Nintendo will do this right, because they're pretty good at that sort of stuff.
I don't know. They still get confused by the internet.
Yeah, but they're good at like navigating people through their games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the key. Like, if there's Nintendo ones, Nintendo sponsored ones, and user generated ones, a nice blend. But otherwise, it's just a cool little curio. Like, oh, make your own Mario levels. Great in 1987.
Yeah.
Now, kind of cool, but.
No.
What are the styles? Is it NES, SNES, and then New Super Mario?
Yes.
Yeah, New Super Mario looks really nice as well. You
It
know,
does,
when they loaded that one up, my first thought was, "Oh man, that's a good looking."
Straight to SNES, isn't it?
Yeah.
Straight.
It's a bit weird, because it's like, because they've flattened the new Super Mario Brothers style. So you know how it's sort of 2.5D on the DS or 3DS or whatever, and in this it is those assets but 2D. So it looks a bit strange.
It's nice though. It's a good looking game.
It's quite cool.
Proves that art direction is more important than visual grunt every now and then.
I quite like how, like, you know, the sort of pointless entertainment of youth. Yeah, like when I watched my daughter make a level, and she just filled it with coins, gave herself a superstar at the start, and then made herself a staircase to the top of the flagpole.
There you go.
So she was just like, she just started her
Lazy.
level, ran along, battering a lot of Goombas off the screen. Got 10,000 points, and that was that. And she was like, "Yeah, done this now."
The most popular Little Big Planet level is always the one where you just go down a ramp, pick up a load of stuff to get a trophy, and then is it? That's
Video games, ladies and gentlemen. We played Mario Super Smash Fun Times. Everyone enjoying themselves. Ultra Tennis as well.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed by that. I mean, what was I expecting from a Mario Tennis game? But my gosh, they've just repeated the last game verbatim. I mean, why wouldn't they?
Do you get mad at Wimbledon?
Do I get mad at
You're
Wimbledon?
like, I can't believe
more tennis.
I can't
That
believe
is
Federer
not-
won this 7 times. They just repeated
Burns,
this.
that is not the same at all. A real sport that you watch for entertainment is not the same as playing
real
a
sport
sequel.
for real men
Exactly.
with real guns.
But you're trying to tell me it's okay for them to take a game that's essentially exactly the same and just repeat it verbatim, not change it at all,
Absolutely,
and then charge 50 quid for it.
100%.
Why?
I charge 90 quid for it.
Nonsense. You're just saying this to be that guy. It's
No.
not true at all.
I played it and I really liked it because
I liked it. It was fun, but it's the same as the last game.
yeah, but I only really liked it because my nemesis was playing against me, and
What,
they
games journalists?
no
Verbatim.
some Nintendo people, and they said,
Lorraine Kelly.
yeah, well, she's up next. She's in the final. But yeah, they said, "Oh, I'm really." My nemesis said, "Oh, I'm really good at this. I beat the last journalist I played, so it went really quiet." And naturally, I won.
Of course.
And the guy, like at the demo pods you had a guy standing there, right? So I was playing against someone else, and then there was the guy whose job was to stand at the demo pod and explain the game. And midway through the second game, he went, it's gotten really quiet, hasn't it?
Tension is high.
And I was like, yes, it has. And then I won, and then I left. See you, Nintendo.
That was it.
Exactly.
With the booth
I
on
can't remember
flame.
a single thing apart from me going, wait a minute, is this like virtual tennis? Like, how do I hold?
It's a little bit like
'cause
virtual tennis.
Yeah, it was like, I'll just use A for like your normal topspin shot or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, no, because you don't hold it down. Like the timing's a bit weird.
Yeah.
The ball doesn't go as fast as you
I agree.
think it would if you just held it down. But I like it when you get big.
Yeah, of course. That's the best thing about life.
Yeah.
And I liked it. I thought it was fun. It's just it does feel like the last one that too much so. So within 5 minutes of playing, I thought I don't know if I want to do all this
Give
again.
me a good Mario Golf game.
Well, that's the ones that Camelot used to make back in the day. I mean, they still kind of make them, but they're not the same. There used to be RPGs with stories, golfing stories.
Remember there was a ISS game, ISS 2000, had an entire club mode where you turned up and you were a lad and really weird Japanese interpretation of football life.
Yeah.
Glorious. Those days gone now.
They are. But yeah, I mean, then we played Smash Brothers as well, which I still don't understand. Does anyone in this room play Smash Brothers and understand it?
Smash Bros is symptomatic of a world that's just rotting.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense. And people go, actually, it's got really high tier. No, it has not. No, it has not. Like, I
don't get it at all. I just, to me, the idea is to throw someone, off the level.
Yeah.
It seems incredibly simple, and yet you play it, and it seems to have this complex edge, which actually isn't there at all. It's the mess. I don't understand Smash Brothers at all.
Yeah, pretty much.
We're going to wind everyone up by saying that, but it's okay. You can still like it. Don't worry about it. And that was all the Nintendo games we played. They had all the three. They had the biggest troll ever. His new Metroid Prime game, LOL. It's football.
Did you play it?
But we didn't play
I
it,
played
no.
that. I got smashed.
People
by
say
the
it's
guy
good.
who's- I don't know. The guy opposite me was so good. They just lost 3-0 every time.
Well, you wouldn't like it. That happens.
Okay.
Just walk away.
Bye.
Was it a Nintendo rep, or was it just some other guy?
No, it was just some dude.
Oh,
He'd
that's
been
weird.
playing it for a little while.
Just some dude
I
sitting there
sat
for
down-
hours.
Yeah, I sat down and afterwards I was like, wow, all right.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, mate.
He'd gone to
But do you not
E3
play
just
Zelda?
to hustle people.
Well, I saw Zelda. The Zelda had a big queue for it, so I watched it, and it's basically exactly as I thought it would be. It's like a Link Between Worlds, but for loads of people.
I liked it.
I liked it, but my problem is the same
I
with.
hate Zelda.
Well, that's true, but it's the same with the Four Swords back in the day. Unless I'm actually going to be able to find two people to play with it all the time, I don't want to go through the single play because it's not going to feel like a proper Zelda experience, like a Link Between Worlds. And if I can find two friends, are they always going to want to play when I want to play? That was the problem with Four Swords. I was well up for playing Four Swords, but nobody else ever was. It was like, okay, I'll just lonely go through Zelda by myself.
No, Miller, that's a terribly sad indictment of the state of like
my
of gaming.
friends.
No, of needing people to play games.
I
like
don't
that.
necessarily like
when
that.
you work in an office filled with people who all they do is play and write about video games,
Yeah,
and
but
you
let's-
can't drum up 3 other people.
Brett will play Zelda with me. Who else? Maybe Scammel.
I'd play Zelda with you, man.
For how long? Okay,
Well,
Dave.
my nemesis did ruin my enjoyment of it by not being able to throw the bomb. Because you have like the totem system, so 3 players stack up.
That's right, yeah. So you can get
And the
items
end
and stuff.
boss in the demo is like a gigantic spinning whirling dervish of death.
Yep.
And you have to jump out of the way, it hits the wall, it's stunned, and then you totem up and someone with a bomb throws the bomb in the top of it. Wow, we failed that 5 times. And in the end, we just had to let it go. We were like, the woman demoing it, the 3rd player, she was like, do you want me to throw the bombs? And by that time, I was like,
That's
no.
not what you want,
I was
is
like,
it?
I've got another appointment to go to. Sorry.
Leave me alone. I remember, again, at some showcase or conference or another, they showed me Pokemon once, and I've never played Pokemon properly, and they were just like, it was like Pokemon for babies, and not even they understood what they were saying. I just wanted to leave. I wanted to just die.
Like that
It was
MOBA I
awful.
saw at last year's E3.
Well, which one was that? The EA one?
What was
the
it
EA
called?
one? The one that got cancelled very, very quickly. Was it that one or was it a different one?
I'm not sure,
Either way.
but I tried to play. It's by 2K, I think. Anyway, I tried to play
Not
it.
Battleborn.
No, and I was like, right, how do you make these guys move? And they literally had to shuffle someone around to be like, don't click like that. I'm pressing I'm using WASD. They're like, no, that doesn't work here. You need to click here. I'm like, but that's stupid. And they're like, yes, but that is the game.
That's the game. That's the moment.
But 25 years, this is what makes people move. No, not here.
No, we changed it.
So
Changed
in
our
the end,
mind.
I was like Seinfeld style. I was like, all right, I'm out.
I'm out. So that's all the Nintendo stuff. There was other stuff there, but we didn't get around to it, or felt it was necessary to play. Had a lot of amiibos in a glass case. What is it? Has anyone else been playing anything though? What's been on people? I mean, Batman obviously has been the big game. Has anything happened in news? Do we need to talk about that new Minecraft game?
No.
You sure?
Although,
it's a Telltale Minecraft story mode.
Your kids love Minecraft.
Yep.
Yeah. Have they seen Minecraft story mode?
Not that I'm aware of.
Do you think they'd play it?
No, I don't think they'd be bothered because like
They just want to make stuff.
At
right?
no point have they ever been playing Minecraft and gone, oh, you know what this really needs is dialogue. Like
That sounds like it's a problem for that game.
because I think they would. I think they would just get frustrated with the fact that it's just
Taking control away from
It's
them.
just a load of cutscenes essentially,
Yeah.
and not something you can go around and build blocks in.
But we say this, we cannot forget the fact that this weekend just gone was Minecon or whatever it's called, where people and their families go to enjoy the world of Minecraft. So I imagine if they know a different version of Minecraft is coming out, it's probably going to do very well. And I imagine a lot of people are probably very excited about
Yeah,
it.
but my kids aren't thick as fuck though.
Well, I'm not referring to all children, but if you get a conference based on your one video game, you can probably do whatever you want and make it successful, I'd imagine. But that trailer for that game is just...
Star Wars, though, isn't it?
I don't think
Minecraft
that
Star Wars,
trailer
though.
was not aimed at children. It was aimed. I don't know who it was aimed
It's
at.
aimed at Telltale Games. That's
Yeah.
it. They just make games
Yeah.
for themselves now. Hence why they're making 702 games simultaneously.
Yeah.
They got what? Borderlands, Game of Thrones. Did they finish The Wolf Among Us? Did that come
Yeah,
to a
that's
close?
finished.
Yeah,
That's
it did,
done.
yeah.
They got Minecraft. What else? They got something else.
I think that would have been a bigger story if they just never finished.
Well, that doesn't surprise me.
Just sacked
They
it
have,
off. I just don't
Telltale.
think anyone noticed that they did.
Telltale have gone right back into Jurassic Park territory now.
Oh, yeah,
they
they
hit this.
fucked it.
They hit this
They have
Walking
fucked
Dead
it.
peak, and ever since then, they're just a confusing.
They are
amalgamation of nonsense.
they are dining out. They are Bob Geldof, like you know.
Yeah.
Like, they are dining out on. I don't like Mondays. That was it. Like, for years and years and years now. They did Walking Dead. It was good. Everything they've made since has been a bit piss in comparison, and everything they made before that was a bit piss.
Oh, Jurassic Park was more than a bit pissed.
Yeah,
Jurassic Park is the worst game
That's
ever made.
amazing. We actually need to do like a let's play.
Oh, Jurassic Park the game.
on
Yeah.
Jurassic Park
We'll get to
again.
that quick time event where the dinosaur just stares at you.
You ever played
Great,
Back to
man.
the Future game? Fucking
No,
shite.
because I love the license too much.
Yeah,
and it
yeah.
just why do it's like when I started going through the Monkey Island Telltale games, which some people say they're really good. It just didn't feel like Monkey Island.
It's not. That wasn't.
It just
Monkey
felt
Island.
like my attempt to try and make Monkey Island, and I somehow convinced the main voiceover guy to come on the project, and he was like, "This is terrible, mate." Oh, yeah, I know, but you're here
Yeah,
now,
yeah.
so finish your lines.
Your attempt to make Monkey Island.
Yeah, that's what it's like. If I tried to, actually, I'd be really impressed if I made that. But
It's 40 hours of Guybrush in the gym.
now we're talking.
Yeah, Telltale, they, like Walking Dead, I think was just a stop clock moment for them, to be honest. I don't think they are a studio that makes good games.
I also think, and I'm sure a lot of people disagree with me on this, but that's fine. I think the Walking Dead series is perfect kind of reasoning for why The Last of Us 2 may not be the greatest idea ever. Because The Walking Dead, I won't spoil it, the season 1 ends so just
Poignantly
and amazingly and genuinely like, well, that's really well done from start to finish.
Yeah, yeah.
But when the second one came, I was like, I don't care. It's like
Oh,
you've
I
taken all the
couldn't-
stuff
yeah.
I've emotionally invested in, it's just fluttered away now, and it does kind of make me feel a bit not as high on the series as I was.
Again, I bought the season pass for it. You know, when they brought out that like bridge episode, it was like was it called
400
days? That was one, yeah.
That was okay,
And
actually.
it was,
didn't
I
mind
mean, I
that.
enjoyed it, but when I was going through it, I was like, I don't care about any of these characters because
Yeah.
it was introducing a load of new characters.
But I thought that's why it existed, so you would buy into these characters in season 2, but it didn't really work.
I get that, but you know, I kind of felt I was like, well, I'm in the same world and I'm doing the same things, but it just feels like I'm overstaying my welcome in this
Yeah.
world. Like that, the first season told this story, told it really, really well, and anything beyond that, I just don't feel like I need. I only got one episode into season 2, despite buying the season pass. Got all excited about it. It didn't have the same water cooler kind of buzz that
No,
the
it
first
didn't.
season
That's
had
true.
at all. I remember like every time a new during season 1, like every time a new episode came out, like everyone was talking about it. Season 2, a couple of people talked about how
Yeah.
disappointed they were with it and how they don't really care anymore.
Mm.
Didn't work. Didn't work at all.
I didn't really get on. Like people loved that first season. I played the first 3 episodes.
Yeah.
and I got. You know when you go to the farm
Yeah.
and that fucking idiot kid
Yeah.
is riding on the whatever.
Tractor. Whatever.
Yeah,
That's
And
right at the beginning, isn't it?
whenever that is, and he's just like, "Oh, save the guy, or save the kid. And I was like, well, there is enough time to save both of these people. And it's just those really arbitrary choices.
That was a bit of a false kind of. You are looking at it thinking, but I'm not the only person here.
Yeah.
It's still nice, though. I still like it.
No. It was, and then the episode where you've got to go to the drugstore, because it's someone's parents' drugstore.
Is that also the first
that's still the
episode?
first episode, yeah.
You just played the first episode, Burns.
No, I'm not going to go into the other ones because they're a bit, yeah. But yeah. And I was like, this is so convoluted. It's like, throw the brick through the window. It's like, fuck off. Like, no. And it's just like, there's things that you can and can't do in that game. People loved it because they were just wanking off the TV show. So, the TV show. I've not seen a single fucking
I've never seen
episode.
the TV show, and I still like the game.
The first episode's got a really good moment, bit of foreshadowing of the game when you're driving out of Atlanta or wherever, and you just see the cop cars go past, and then there seems to be more on it. But the other games would be like, hold Y to look at event. That sort of stuff's really cool.
Cheers, Gears.
But yeah, and then as it went on through, I just thought those kind of false equivalencies and all those false choices and stuff like that were just getting worse and worse. But
I think it's mostly about buying into the characters of that game.
I hate I've got to look after this kid. Fuck off with this fucking
I think
kid
that's your main
bullshit.
problem, isn't it?
That's not the
Burns'
game
main
for
problem.
Burns, is it?
Yeah.
It's just like survival of the fittest. That kid is obviously not stronger, faster, or smarter than me. So it's dead.
Technically,
Dead.
she is. She did all right.
Yeah,
Well,
Spoilers.
bollocks, mate.
Clementine did not bad. To be fair.
With her
Oh
hat.
yeah, because you're protecting everything. Oh rubbish! She's like fucking Krang.
Don't diss Krang. Not on this podcast. The hero in his weird bodysuit thing.
I mean, the amount of infrastructure you'd need.
Hey, Krang's in the new Tails movie. So is Seamus playing flipping Rocksteady. What the flip is that about?
Is that before he mutates into whatever it is?
I don't know. I guess it's after. He looks a
Because
bit
they do.
mutated.
They
Seamus.
become. What are they? Rocksteady and Bebop.
Rocksteady would be their rhinoceros and a
Something else.
something. Yeah, it must be because he looks just like a rhino. I don't know what the other one is. A lion. It's not. But we'll say it.
Is
for the sake
Seamus
of
a
it.
prick in that film as well? Like,
Well, he's Rocksteady, so I presume yes, because Rocksteady's a bit of a knob.
Quickly
so
about
sharp.
Telltale before people start moaning. Apparently, Borderlands is very good. I haven't played it.
Well, apparently Game of Thrones is all right now as
Game
well.
of Thrones
but
has seen lots of mixed opinions, but Borderlands people say is actually very good. But then it's Borderlands, so
Look,
people don't care.
I
as
hate on
much, but-
Telltale. I just don't care. I don't. That may be
Yeah.
worse. That
I don't
may
have
be
time
worse.
for it.
I have to admit, I played the first episode of Tales from the Borderlands and it was all right. But it was a Telltale game. Like,
Well, that's the thing.
How
Oh,
do
It
you
is-
they do feel very similar, don't they? All of them.
yeah.
Did you play Game of Thrones, Jim?
Yeah, first.
Did you buy the season pass for Borderlands?
No.
See, buying a season pass is always a mistake because they always go cheaper before they're all out.
Hello.
Which is terrible. But that's the way it is.
Tom, you want to talk about Shenmue because you played Shenmue 2 on
Shenmue.
live stream last
Shenmue
week.
2.
No, there was a second one, wasn't it? It was a sequel,
Yeah, second one. We played the Xbox version.
which you hated and Burns loves. It's
I
like
just-
Flip
Thing is,
World.
I played the original Shenmue on the Dreamcast. I hated it pretty much. I don't know. Even then, to me, it felt dated already. I know it was doing stuff that was like we hadn't seen in other games, really. But to play it, it felt old, even though it wasn't. And I couldn't get on with it. And it's the same with the second one. Even now, it's even worse because it just feels like if you go back to something like Resident Evil, it feels old the way it plays. But this is another level of it just feels everything is awkward. Like it doesn't. Nothing is where you think it is. Like I was pressing buttons, they weren't doing anything that I thought they would do. Which is like it's got its own control system, which if you know is fine.
There are three: left stick makes you run, right stick makes you run, right trigger makes you run, D-pad makes you walk.
That's incredible, isn't it? I mean, how is that even a thing?
Yeah, it's not
Oh,
good.
well, okay. Well, I guess at the time they thought it was it. No one moaned about it at the time, so I guess it was right. I've never
Well, you
played
only
one
had
of those
one
games.
stick when it came
Nobody
out.
fucking
course.
played it at the time, though, did they?
Fuck off, mate. I played it.
And Burns counts for 1 million people.
Yeah.
I've never played it. I have no interest to play. I think now, even with the third one coming out, I just want to leave it to do whatever it wants to do. It's never. I'm never going to understand.
Tom's
it now.
right.
I'm too
It's
late.
to play it. I mean, if you watch that stream, and after all the kind of nonsense that gets spoken, about midway through, there's just a moment where like I don't say anything for about 5 or 10 minutes because I'm just enjoying playing a
There you
video
go.
game.
Well, that's nice.
And I'm sure that I probably look about 10 years younger as well, like a proper grin on my face before I realise that I'm an actor and need to get back to my day job. But
Kayfabe.
Someone wrote about Shenmue recently. We won't say it is, but they described it as being a very slow game. Like it seems like it should be a fast game. Like it's open world. It feels like you should be able to run around, do stuff. But its rhythms are actually incredibly slow.
Isn't it more like living this guy's life?
But once you get into it, and I know that's not a great thing. I mean, fuck me, pressing back or down on the D-pad, you think would like turn the character around quickly. Instead, he stops and has a whole animation where he very slowly turns it, and then the camera comes around with its nonsense. There's loads of unskippable cutscenes.
It's a stupid box job.
Yeah, you only have to do that once, really. But
do you want all this stuff in Shenmue 3?
I don't want Shenmue 3.
No, you don't. That's why we chatted about that, of course.
For Shenmue 3.
Okay, so as it is coming, and someone says, Steve, you have to make the choice. Do you want them to kind of completely recreate it and come up with this whole new thing, or do you want it to feel like the old ones with technological, tidbits?
Well, the first game is quite a lot smaller in its scale. It's denser than the second game is. The second game is remarkable in its atmosphere.
Yeah.
I feel. Terrible in its actual mechanics. Like this is the guy that made Virtua Fighter. The fighting's rubbish because you can't ever see who you're fighting against. So, but in terms of its ambition, and there's so much stuff there that's so clever that the game gives you agency to do stuff. In that you have to sneak into a temple at one point, but it's never like sneak into the temple, do not sneak into the temple. The game makes you feel as if you are actually on the journey and in a stranger in a strange land sort of thing. And there's a moment where you have to go and see a grandmaster and learn something from them. And you have to punch, like it's in total darkness, and they're like throwing punches or something, and you have to stop them. And like he hits you a few times, you hit him. I don't remember exactly which way it is around, but then you get it, and you'll stop the punch. You press the directions QTE, but it's really difficult to do until you start getting into the rhythm of it,
right? And
you stop it, and it's a like real Neo in the Matrix moment to use the films which you blatantly influence. You're like, oh shit, I did that. It's a trick, but you feel like the character, like I've learned how to do these things when you catch leaves and stuff like that. It sounds wank as fuck, but once you're in the game world, it's like a gentle stream. It just takes you along with it. But the next one, I think people think that Shenmue was smaller, set in the town, than Hong Kong. Where's it going to be now? But it's going to get smaller again, I feel. It has to by necessity, because Sega aren't fucking like, look, guys, this is literally the last of the dies. I think it will be smaller. It will be denser.
Well, he's already said that it's, and character-wise, on the back of the box for 2, doesn't it say it's like kind of how many characters? One of the things is it has this many characters that you can interact with. He said there's going to be a lot less, but you interact with them in more meaningful ways. Yeah. So I guess that suggests
closer to the first one, essentially. But when you go back and play Shenmue 2, some of the stuff that it does that still hasn't been surpassed, like you can go into almost any room or any building, and it's not the biggest open world, and it's quite contrived in the way you get around it, but the staging of it is fantastic. At one point in the end game, you have to find someone in like a high-rise building, like a block of flats. You can go in every single fucking door. I mean, it's annoying. You're like, how many of these rooms are there? But you
like it's different.
You can't do that in say
any
even
games.
GTA. Like even with the mods, you can unlock all interiors. It's only about 30.
You go into every building in Morrowind.
Yeah, but there's nothing in there apart from fucking shame. So, yeah,
he told you, Jim.
I think Tom is absolutely right. What it needs to do, what Shenmue 3 needs to have, it is the ability to control it in a way in which people have become accustomed to. And even then, I think that it didn't help that it was made for that catamaran style fucking gamepad for the Dreamcast, which only had one stick, and so you had to hold left trigger to look.
Yeah.
Like it's a fucking like a PSP game or something. But yeah, I'm not excited for it. I don't see how they can make it work. If they do make it work, Shenmue 3, I'd love it. But at the same time, I love Shenmue 2, and I also love the fact that it was never finished, because part of you, then you can make up your
fill
own.
in the blanks. Yeah, it's always.
It's going to be Landy's going to be that woman's from Shenmue 2 sister, brother. He's going to be your actual dad or some shit. And you're like, oh, great, it's a Star Wars now.
Always, everything's Star Wars. I have one dumb question. This is well done, but I actually don't know. Why is it called Shenmue? What does Shenmue stand for?
I think it's something to do with the there's a girl you run into. Her name's Shenhua or something like that. So I think it's to do with the mirrors. You're on the quest for the Phoenix and the Dragon Mirror.
Okay.
I think.
Oh, there we go.
But I don't
Thank
actually know. I just refer to it as running around kicking shit out of games.
I tell you, it would have sold better if it was called like Skull Blood. I tell you that right
If it
now.
was called Life Simulator,
So,
just call the next one Minecraft Story Mode.
well, there you go.
There you go.
Watch it sell. Okay, before we move on to the question segment of the podcast, remember this podcast is sponsored by Magic Jewels Origins because we're big time now. But also, if you're coming to the Video Gamer Live event on the 23rd of July, you've now got an email. If you do not have that email, you have not paid, and you cannot come to this event. Some people seem to think that they've paid, they're going to come. No. It's like Ticketmaster. If you don't have your ticket, you can't just turn up and go, let me in, Bob. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, just remember that.
What is the email?
It's from me. And it says
does it
VG
say-
Live event ticket.
I've
Does
not
it say in that
subject.
email that you have a ticket?
Yes.
Yeah.
It tells you what your ticket is and what you have to print out. So just a little nudge because a few people seem to be confused. Like,
Can I send someone in my stead? I'll find someone who looks a little bit like me. Then they can go on stage, and then I'll be sitting at the back wearing like a fake like wig.
beard.
Yeah, and I'll just shout, "That's not the real Burns," and I'll run down.
You've
and close
ruined
it.
that part of the show now, haven't you?
Yeah.
We were planning to
Can't
do
it
that. We can't do it.
Oh well. Negs says when the I'm gonna start that again. When the inevitable I'm dying, it seems, or having
right.
a stroke. I'm gonna get rid of that word. When the heat death of the universe is finally upon us, what would your last moments be? It's a very interesting question. It's basically what are you going to do when the world blows up? Inevitable.
You won't
There we
be-
go.
I mean,
I said it
I'll
now.
have been
All's
dead
all right.
for about 1 trillion fucking years.
Well, let's
so-
say it's going to happen tomorrow. The world's going to end tomorrow. What do you want to do
It's a
before
bit,
it blows
this is
up?
a bit of a sad
Yeah.
question.
Well, you know, it's going to work.
I'd enjoy it. I've got. I've got.
Would you not loot? Everyone says that. I'd loot.
No,
That's
what's
what a
the
stupid
point?
thing to
What's the
do.
point
Yeah,
of
but that's what
looting?
everyone says.
Exactly.
Learn
Like,
to
everyone-
just have his watches there, be looking at them all.
Steve Merchant said on the Ricky Gervais podcast he would murder someone because what difference does it make? I just thought of that now.
I'd just watch Bottom.
No, why not? It's nice. Jim, what would you do? Play Morrowind?
No, I've no idea. I wouldn't play Morrowind.
See,
You love it, makes you
even
happy.
Jim.
Morrowind is like after like 2006. You know, Morrowind has a very definite sell by date. Like you can't play it now. I've tried. You can't.
Oh well, Tom, what do you want to do? You're about to die.
I don't know, be in my family, wouldn't I? Probably.
Okay. Go to a theme park.
It's too sad, this question.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Adam says, after finishing Arkham Knight, I feel it's now time to work on my lats. What are your top tips for lat exercises? Pull-ups. Everyone knows that. Do loads of pull-ups or lat pull-downs. Psych Tyson, which video game character creation suite does Brett get his fashion sense from? A bad one. Chris Duffy, how excited are you for WWE 2K16 with the Stone Cold campaign? Seems appropriate to ask after the cover reveal. Right. You ready for this? We're going in deep. Did anybody watch the WWE 2K16 reveal trailer with Austin in it?
No.
Everyone go watch it now. It's really well done. And if you're a wrestling fan, it will have you incredibly excited about that game. Like, it's all real life. It's not like gameplay and just Austin in a field doing some stuff. But it's really cool. It's really well done.
Field?
Just you have to see it. Kind of, he gets something. He's digging something out of the ground, and he gets up. If you're a wrestling fan, it gets you all sort of goosebumpy and excited. But then you remember the game that it's attached to.
Yeah.
Now, you can put, because the rumour is now, and I think it's substantiated with this cover reveal, it looks like the main story mode will be reliving Stone Cold Steve Austin's greatest moments. That is excellent. Because you could argue the hottest period in wrestling and the most successful and the most popular is when Stone Cold was, running riot. I want to do that in a video game. I'm excited to do, especially a video game that is, built around Stone Cold Steve Austin, because I think he's amazing. But unless that video game changes, it doesn't. It makes no difference because those mechanics have aged. The visual, everything needs a huge overhaul. It feels like SmackDown did in 2000. Unless that starts to change, and unless it starts to feel like, take FIFA for example. If FIFA still played how it did in 1998, nobody would be talking about FIFA anymore. But simply because wrestling is more of a niche and it doesn't have any real competition, it gets away with it. And people love they do a tremendous job with the creation stuff and the user tools. Like, I don't think any other game comes close. But it's all about the core game. And it doesn't play like a wrestling game.
No.
It plays like some weird, they call it a simulation. It's not a simulation.
It's a fighting game.
Exactly.
A bad one.
And that's the problem, is that I watch the trailer, I get excited, but then my brain goes, you're not going to, I didn't like the last one, I didn't like the one before that. The last one I properly liked was Here Comes the Pain? Maybe.
2003.
Yeah,
which was amazing.
Some of the SmackDown versus Raws are actually decent, and one of the WWE, I think it was 13 with CM Punk on the cover, was actually quite good. But then they repeated that for 3 years, and you're like, I don't want to play it again. Like, I need an overhaul. I need something new. I need to feel like these games are changing or evolving, and they don't. So it doesn't matter. You can have Stone Cold Steve Austin, Hulk Hogan, and I don't know who else is there.
Bruce the Barber Beefcake.
Yeah, Bruce the Barber Beefcake's greatest moments. But if the way they're being portrayed doesn't feel, it's like the last one. The last one looked great until you started playing it. And then you could see the old game smattered in there. It was like, come on, guys. And that's my problem with it. This should be the best wrestling game ever. Austin on the front, relive his moments. You're probably going to have stuff when he came in on the beer truck, spread everyone with beer, on the zucchini, all this kind of thing. And I don't think you're going to be able to enjoy it
wrestling, shouldn't it? Our idea. Where it should be a work.
When you work the match, yeah. That would
should be a rhythm action game, essentially.
Well, they need to slow it down for starters. It's way too quick. And they need to make moves feel more impactful. And like when you hit any kind of move, it needs to feel like, man, that little skate. It never does anymore. No. There's no weight to any of the moves.
Aki-Man needs to be in it as well.
Damn right. Bring back Aki-Man. So I'm excited. I think the marketing's going to be excellent because
marketing 9 out of 10.
Well, it's weird, but Austin.
But it always is with WWE, isn't it?
That's true. Actually,
they are very good.
But then the game's going to come out and go, I played this already. I played it 10 years ago. I wouldn't let anything else get away with that.
Let's review it now. 6 out of 10. There you go.
It's generous. Shot down. Anthony Powell, when are we going to hear other members of the VG team's moron YouTube commenter voice? The reason I put that in there is that that's happened a lot. I don't think people realise that the YouTube commenter voice is one and the same. So lots of people do it, but it sounds the same because it's only one voice.
It's meant to be uniform idiocy.
Yeah, that's a reference to our new YouTube comment videos, which you can watch on VideoGamerTV.
They're good, they
Cheap plug.
Can you start reading the questions out in that voice?
Yeah, fine. I sometimes get it confused with the Miller Report voice, but you may have to take over. I'll do my best. Oliver Rebeck says, what game have you played the most amount of times? Ocarina of Time's mine, which is sad, really.
That's clearly not the case, is it?
This is the most amount of time.
Yeah, you've blatantly played a sports game or a wrestling game far more.
Does this mean finished, like completed?
Okay, by that logic, yes.
Tetris.
Really?
No, I always go back to Tetris, don't I? But
I don't know.
In terms of game sessions started, maybe not in terms of hours played, but in terms of like actually launching the game and playing it.
Okay.
For 2 minutes or whatever.
For me.
What game have you completed most? I think that's probably what he means. Resident Evil 4 for me.
That's the completed most Ocarina of Time, played most would be one of the FIFA games. Probably FIFA 13, bizarrely. I played that game fucking loads. I don't know why.
Call of Duty. Call of Duty's got to be up there, right?
Good shout. Very, very good shout. Probably 4, you'd imagine.
Yeah,
played that loads. Jim, you got any games other than Tetris?
I don't know any of the
Tetris is both the greatest and saddest story ever because it's probably the greatest game ever made, and also the guy that made it got royally screwed.
Yeah.
No money for that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But Ocarina of Time, in terms of actually seeing the finished credits, I don't really go through games more than once, and I play that once a year.
Do you know the first game? Do you remember the first game you ever actually got to the end of? For me, it was Streets of Rage. The first game I remember actually finishing.
Yeah.
What year was that? What year is the first Streets of Rage?
93.
Shut up.
Maybe Street Fighter 2.
Yeah?
Bizarrely. Yeah. Because it's relatively easy to put it on easy. Carl Kuhn says, the way CD Projekt Red is systematically releasing content is awesome. Should that model be used in the future for all DLCs? What are they doing exactly? They're just like pimping out the Witcher every week or something?
What they're basically doing is that they've got a program of 16 free DLCs that they are releasing.
How big are they?
They vary in size. Some of them are like little bits of armor or whatever, new crossbows. Other ones are like actual missions, actual quests you can go on. So like some of them are a little bit substantial. Others are just window dressing. But which is fine. It's really a statement of intent from them because I don't think anyone's really excited about a new fucking crossbow decal pack or whatever.
You are, Jim. Don't lie. I can see it in your eyes.
I think what it basically is that it's CD Projekt going, BioWare would charge you £7 for this. Yeah. We're just going to give you it for free.
But isn't it also so that people are going, actually, I will buy that big expansion because they gave me this other stuff for free?
Well, it's part of that as well because they say that their ethos. I might be misquoting here, but their ethos is they're not going to charge for something that they themselves wouldn't pay for as individuals, and they want to make games that they want to play, right? So their expansions, I think one of them is going to be £20, the other one's going to be I'm talking rubbish. I think they're going to be like, like 15 quid or something, but they're going to add like 30 hours.
They're
40
like
hours
Shivering
to the
Isles,
game.
aren't they? They're that kind of level of.
Oh yeah, they're like proper new areas, new campaigns, like essentially like half a new game added on, which and that's they can do that, and I don't like the idea of sort of taking what CD Projekt have done, and I really like what they're doing. I think they're really great. And they're fostering a really loyal community with that because everyone's like, well, CD Projekt, they get it. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a little bit dangerous to take what they do, what works for CD Projekt, and say, right, well, every studio should do this. It doesn't work for everyone,
I think it just comes down to make me want your content.
Oh yeah,
because like I got the Batman season pass, but then I look at what's coming out and like Batgirl DLC. Not interested. The Riddler tracks, not interested. It's not what I want. Yeah. It's just not what I want. Like, it just doesn't... And I love that game, and I want more content. I'd be happy to part with money to get more content. I think that's fine. I think the system, it makes sense. Do you want more content? And you pay for it. That's capitalism. All right, fine.
Yeah.
It's never... The only stuff... That's why Shivering Isle comes to mind, because that was great. It cost like 20 quid, and I felt well worth it. It was big, it was expansive, it made me feel good about going back to Oblivion.
It was basically another Elder Scrolls game.
Exactly. I mean, it was 25 hours or whatever. It had some great choices, and Shigaroth, or however you pronounce his name, was fun and mental. But I just... Not many games, and I'm still getting into the main part of The Witcher, so I haven't looked at the DLC, but no game really comes out with stuff that makes me go, I want to spend money on that. That's the problem. It always feels like content that was on the cutting room floor, and they've gone, let's just pick it up, polish it. It never feels like, wow, this is amazing stuff.
It's the whole games as services thing, isn't it? I mean, everyone's trying to make it, make it so that the game isn't just a one-shot 40 quid purchase. It's it keeps sort of you nickel and dime people, so you've got a constant stream of revenue from them, which a lot of studios are going to have to do to keep on making these things that we want. It works for CD Projekt. That they're a relatively small team, and imagine that their overheads are a lot smaller than fucking BioWare's. So they can, and they don't have paymasters, so they don't have to. Well, obviously they do. They've probably got shareholders and whatever, but they probably don't have somebody at the top constantly complaining about revenues being down or sales targets or whatever. It works for CD Projekt. They're in a pretty unique position where they are a really small studio, basically an independent studio, right? But making AAA games.
Yeah.
They're kind of an anomaly. So I really don't like the idea that you can take what they do and just blank and just say everyone should be doing this, because it wouldn't work for BioWare, But if BioWare were like, we're going to release 23 DLCs for Mass Effect Andromeda, and EA are going to be like, fuck, what? Why are you doing that?
They may well try that though, because it clearly has worked to an extent, because like the DLC that you're getting, lots of it probably didn't take that long to at the moment. Like lots of it is small stuff, and then it makes them seem like they're like the friendly developer, and then you're like, oh, I will support them with the £30 expansion because I got that other stuff. I'm sure, Dying Light's doing quite a lot of stuff where they're giving away free DLC.
Good game, Dying Light.
Yeah, so
really, isn't it? What a poor sign of forgotten gem that was. Everyone forgot about it so quick.
But Dead Island 2 is going to be really good, isn't it?
If it comes out.
But I think as a statement of intent, it works great. But the free DLCs that have come out so far, they're not earth shattering or anything. It's just nice
trinkets.
It's just nice to have get free shit.
Trinkets is another series there.
Done. Cameron Fotheringham says, "Can we see Can we see a Simon versus Jim Cage match?" I'll take you on, pal.
No.
Oh, all right, there you go. No, you can't. Joe Levitt. Joe, this is the most wishful thinking question ever, but bless your heart. With Xbox One being able to be backwards compatible, do you see HD remakes coming to an end? No, you can expect an absolute plethora of them over the next couple of years.
The answer's always money. Come on,
exactly.
People.
You're going to get so many soon. So many. Like, just you wait. You're going to get more.
I'm fine with it. I am fine with it.
I don't care if people. Honestly, something I saw the other day. I was going to the PSN store and I remember that Sleeping Dogs has got a spruced up version.
Yep.
As soon as that drops in price in bit, you get it. Done deal.
It's already well cheap, Miller. That is
40 quid on PSN.
It was 10 quid the other day
on PSN.
I think so.
Well, they didn't advertise that very well. No, it's not about me missing it. They got to let me know it's that price. They want to sell it
gotta
to me. They
call you
want
up.
my cash.
You'll be like Arnold, don't answer the phone.
Exactly. If you want me to buy it, let me know. I didn't know. They fucked it. I would have bought it. They would have had my £10
It's not very
now.
good though, Milo. Don't worry
I thought
about
Sleeping
it.
Dogs was awesome.
Not the HD version.
Yeah.
Oh, why not?
Get the
I don't know.
PC
It's a bit
version.
shit.
I don't know. You don't. People don't need to get annoyed about remasters coming out. Just don't fucking
don't
buy
buy
them.
them.
Just
Hey,
don't buy them.
The argument is always, but they should be spending that time and money on new games.
Oh, they're
Oh,
being
piss
made
off.
by nobody.
Nobody
developers.
said, like, when people bought the fucking White Album for the 7th time on a new format, they weren't like, I think the Beatles should be making new albums.
Exactly. The Beatles are shit. I was going to say something. Yeah, God of War 3 comes out remastered next month. I'm all over it.
Can you
This
imagine
month.
buying Terminator 2 and Blu-ray? Why don't they make new Terminators?
Yeah,
They did.
Actually, stop making new Terminators.
David Tripney, discuss No Man's Sky. Can it live up to the hype?
Nope.
No,
Tell you right now,
absolutely not.
I've been saying this since they announced it. It's going to be a whole lot of nothing. It's going to be a big empty world with nothing to do. You're going to be
Well,
bored within an hour.
They've just released another 18 minutes of gameplay, right? And it is the same
Of course it
18
is.
minutes of gameplay you've been seeing
Yeah.
since they started doing demos of it at E3. The people have had too long to think about that game. It is going to come out and it's going to
It's
disappoint
classic
everyone.
Sony. I know it's not a Sony game, but Sony show stuff early quite often, like they did at E3. This E3 was classic. Here's a load of stuff you're not going to get for years. No Man's Sky, it looked cool, but then it needed to be out like the next month, and everyone would
Yes,
have gone mad for it.
Absolutely.
But I don't know. I hope it's still something there that is fun,
Yeah.
but they still haven't sold me on it as a thing that is a fun game. It looks
Oh, not
kind of
fun.
cool, but I don't know.
I mean,
it's,
it's probably like a very impressive piece of software from an engineering standpoint.
it's always
but from
good
an actual
when they
game,
show off
like-
like what the tech is and stuff. It's always cool.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
then they show the game and it's just he walks around, he looks at some animals, he goes for a swim, he
Yeah.
does some kind of scan, and then he walks around a bit more. he slowly pans around a little spacecraft.
Yeah.
And then they fly off, and that's the game. I mean, there is like an end game, isn't there? Like, there's something about
Well,
getting
I was
to
going
somewhere.
to
but-
bring that
to
up
the centre of
actually.
the
I
galaxy.
remember me and you did that video when they did a
and
new
everyone
sort
went
of
nuts.
demo, and
Oh.
everyone was just like, because we were basically just like, the problem is, they keep showing us this stuff, but we're like, apart from, all the things Tom listed that they've done repeatedly in every demo, land on the planet, look at some fish. We were just like, well, what are we going to be actually doing in this game? And everyone was like, didn't you listen to him? He said the end game was to get to the center of the galaxy.
I was like-
but that is just doing all that shit
That's not an end
repeatedly
game.
until
Has it
you
got
get
any
to the
guns in
galaxy.
it?
I tell you what an end game is, killing fucking General Ram. That's an end game. An end game ain't getting to no centre of the galaxy.
He
That's
turned
just
in-
doing the game.
Is this Miller or Miller character?
They're the same now.
They're one of the same now, yeah.
But I don't think that's an end game.
Does it have any guns in it?
Yes.
On your
Oh
spacecraft,
yeah,
it does, doesn't it?
there is.
Like-
Do you have a gun?
Like pew pew guns.
Yeah,
that
there's
kind of
first-person
thing.
combat as well.
Like, can't stand laser guns.
You know what I'm talking about?
My interest, as Jim knows, range from about 1960 to about 5 years from now
Yeah.
in terms of technology.
Yeah,
That's all I'm
absolutely.
interested in.
Terrible.
Yeah. Basically, once we're post Blade Runner, you're just like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Bill Wang. I love Bill Wang. Question for everyone. Come on, Bill. Favorite movie based off a video game?
Oh, fuck.
Are you kidding me?
Crank.
A movie based on
Crank's the
video
Come on,
best.
game.
Bill. You're usually
Anyway.
better than this.
But there aren't any.
Crank's the best
I
video
don't think
game
there are any
movie of
good
all time.
ones, are there?
Yeah, but that's not even technically true.
It's just based on video
You're
games.
right.
isn't
You
it?
are correct. But I mean, you took an actual. Look,
GTA 5 stole the thing where they show where he is, where
True,
it
they
comes up
did,
to
yeah.
Google Maps and shows him in another part of LA.
fact. Prince of Persia. Terrible. In the Name of the King, whatever that crap was. Terrible.
Mortal Kombat.
Tomb
Mortal
Raider's
Kombat. Actually, I quite like
terrible.
the Mortal Kombat. You know what? The Street Fighter animated movies are all right. There
They
you
don't
go.
count.
Go watch that. Why don't they count?
Anime doesn't count.
The first Mortal Kombat is deliriously bad, but kind of watchable.
Well, if we do, in that case, the Street Fighter movie is amazing. I mean, it's brilliant for all the wrong
it's
reasons.
a very sad movie because you
Kylie Minogue just turns up for a bit.
can tell that Raul Julia is not very well at all. It's just really, he just doesn't look
true.
well. And didn't he die about 2 months afterwards?
Kylie Minogue turns up in San Andreas with The Rock. How weird is that? For literally about 42 seconds, she
Yeah.
just pops up in a role. And The Rock was tweeting about it going, I love Kylie Minogue. It's too weird for me.
They do.
Just shut up, The Rock.
Right, Jim, here's the question that you've been excited about. Aaron said, could Jim explain what taps AF mean to those who don't know about it, but sober this time?
Right. Okay.
Come on, Jim. Finish this
is
podcast strong.
that is a reference to when Scammell said to me on Friday night, do you want to come out for a drink? A drink. And I was like, I'll come out for a drink. Ended up having several. It's the old
What is
story.
taps Ah.
So I got back to my house and started periscoping because that's the thing we
That's
can do
what
now.
we do now,
I'm gonna live stream the demented, inane shit that I get up to when I'm inebriated. And it was like, it was really warm. I was cooking my dinner and I was periscoping it, and I was like, look, I'm cooking my fucking dinner. Check this out, boys. And people were just
Check this out, boys.
And I'd taken my top off. And,
This sounds sexy, Jim.
Because I was like, yeah, it's fucking Tapsaf weather, innit? And all these people were just like, what does
Oh, right, I'm
Tapsaf
with you,
mean?
right.
And I'm like, Tapsaf, as in, and I went mad on the periscope. I was like, fucking taps, as in, get your fucking tap off. Are you mental? Everyone was like, what? Tapsaf is it's Glaswegian for there's nice weather today. So, aye, right, Tapsaf. As you can attest to, Simon, when you were in Glasgow, when the sun's out in Glasgow,
Oh yeah,
everyone
It's
takes
hot,
the top
and there's
off.
so many Gregs.
yeah.
But yeah,
exactly. Everyone takes the top off, they go to Greg's, they get a steak bake, they rub it in.
You are right though. I would say 70% of the people had their tops off or their
Yeah.
taps off. Whether is that right? Probably not. But no.
Tapsaf weather.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Does anybody else want to shout anything out before we bring this to a close? Anything you want. This is the 30 seconds where you can talk about
I just
anything.
love video games.
Ah, that's nice. I'm glad. I don't believe you, Steve. All right, we'll bring it to a close. Remember, if you're a Patreon member, or you can go to patreon.com/VideoGamer right now, spend $5 and you can listen to the extended section of the podcast. And remember, today we were sponsored by Magic Jewels Origins, the new free-to-play digital version of Magic the Gathering. Visit magic.wizards.com/jewels for more info.
First take, that's brilliant.
I know, it's good, right? I got this down. All right, so hang around if you're a Patreon member for your extended bit. But if you're not, thank you very much for joining us. Remember to go to VideoGamer.com on Twitter, Facebook, VideoGamerTV on YouTube. But of course, go to VideoGamer.com. The amount of people that say, oh, you've got a website. Yeah, that's where all this shit starts, man. So go to it and just read stuff, because why not? Burns, pimp out a feature. What's your favourite feature of the last week that you've written?
There's a cracking David Braben interview. I read that this morning. It was bloody good.
There you go. Everyone go read David
There's a really
Braben.
good Lego Jurassic World codes, and you can unlock all the characters. That was a
There
good
you
read,
go.
that one.
Go read that. And also, was it VG Tomo on
Yeah,
Twitter?
at VG Tomo.
We've got to keep that going. Keep pimping that
Over
out.
2,000 now.
There you go.
Flying
You're
up.
flying.
Oh,
Does anybody else want to pimp their Twitters? Tom does it. Go
at
on.
the Steve Bernio.
No.
Jim, just do it.
I don't need to pimp my Twitter.
If you
Okay.
follow Burns, you might as well follow me, because I give him half the stuff he does anyway.
Well, I'm pimping mine. I never pimp mine at Simon Miller 316, which is so embarrassing now. I'm 31 years old, and I've got
You're
316 at the
31
end of my Twitter
I'm
handle.
going to be 31 soon.
September, right?
Getting on my blood pumped out.
316.
316. The worst bit is, it's happening at the end of the podcast where I talk gibberish. But the worst thing is, I once tweeted something to Stone Cold Steve Austin as a little joke, and he replied, and he retweeted it and stuff. Now, it was obviously amazing. It was the greatest day of my life. But then...
Wasn't this last week?
no, Goldberg retweeted me last week. What a great day. But after Stone Cold Steve Austin, I had a few days and I went, yeah, he saw 316 in the name and probably thought, what a piece of shit you are.
Was
you
it like...
fucking Mark.
Was it the water boy? How
Yeah,
old are you, son?
Exactly.
Isn't he 31?
Yeah,
32?
there you go. A
How
man
old are you,
child
son?
to the day I
12,
Someone said that to me on
22.
Twitter. They went, Miller likes wrestling and is in a band. What a child. It's like, I'm sorry I like things. Sorry about that.
I
I
understand
give
the
up.
wrestling one, but being in a band, it's like
What?
Logan's Run for bands.
You're obviously aware of Miller because you like video games. You're a fucking child as well.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
He may actually be a child. Maybe this kid was like 12 or something, so we don't know. Anyway, that was a VideoGamer.com UK Lots of Stuff podcast. My name is Simon Miller. I was joined by Stephen W. Burns,
Yeah,
Jim Drinker,
as you were.
All right.
who's moved his mic miles away
Yeah,
from
sorry.
his mouth,
I thought we were done. I was halfway out the door.
and Tom
Bye.
Murray.
Bye-bye.
See you next week.
Bye.